Hello, I'm Karen, and this is the reading of Chapter 2 of A Silent Kind of Strength by Can Crusade on AO3. Chapter 2. Izuku jerked awake in the dark. It took him a moment to register his phone on the floor buzzing and slowly inching its way under the bed, flashlight on the back flashing briskly. Gruggily, he grabbed at it, missing the first time because he couldn't quite see straight through his yawn. He swept the screen and held the device up above his face, green eyes squinted at the bright light. He was vaguely aware that his greeting might not be the most intelligible, but he couldn't find it in his sleep-addled brain to care too much. That was until the screen lit up with his mother's face, hysterical tears streaming, obviously wailing, even if he couldn't hear it. He grimaced, deciding that at 4:27 a.m., he was too tired to try and read her lips. "Hold on, Mom," he mumbles as he reaches towards the abandoned hearing aids, slipping the less damaged one in so he could at least make out most of what she was saying. "What's going on? You had a double night, right? Did something happen? Do I need to come there?" It took a moment for Inko to stop blubbering enough to explain. Apparently, Kachan had run into the slime villain after school and ended up in the hospital with a pulmonary edema. Since Inko knew they took similar paths home, she's worried Izuku might also be hurt. She had tried to message and call him, but he hasn't replied. The teenager winced and glanced at his notifications. 103 missed texts, 40 missed calls. He sighed. "Sorry, Mom, I'm fine. I just went to bed early." It took him 30 minutes of repeating the same consolations to calm her down enough to return to work. Poor defenseless Izuku. How could her weak little baby be within a mile of a villain and not get hurt? Well, okay, fine. This time he did, but he made it out alive, and in better shape than Kachan, it would seem. Wait, didn't All Might capture the villain? How did he get a hold of Kachan? How did a low-level scrub like that escape the #1 hero? He groaned as dramatically as he could when he realized he wasn't getting back to sleep anytime soon. He sluggishly plugged in his dying phone. It wouldn't do for it to die to send his mom into another spiral if she called him again. With a grumble, he moved to his desk, flipping the light on and booting up his laptop, ignoring the wheezing sounds it made when the screen flickered on. He tossed the still squeaking hearing aid device back into the small pile that had accumulated and delved into Smoogle. Might as well learn how to fix these cheap, fragile, stupid things so his mom wouldn't have to shell out even more cash they couldn't afford to lose. It took several hours and many HeroTube videos on the mechanics of speakers and the likes before he ended up with a pair of Frankenstein hearing aids. Born from the ashes of the destroyed pairs, it took another hour of basic code programs to tune them properly. Thank God he was already decent at coding, or else the rest of his Saturday would have spent something that wouldn't last through the next week at school. Now that he knew how they worked, he could look into getting a bunch of spare parts super cheap from somewhere. It would be a lot easier than having to go to the clinic to order new ones and waiting 2 weeks for them to arrive. With a sigh, he shoved back from his desk and spun his chair around, only to be met with a barrage of red, yellow, and blue as his mind came out of his little learning spree. He never realized how obnoxious All Might's color scheme was before. He hates it. And it's everywhere. He wrinkled his nose and heaved himself up on half-numb legs, hurrying out towards the kitchen. He probably would have eaten hours ago, but it's better late than never, right? As he reheated some of the random leftovers he hoped were still good, he let his mind drift over the many events of today before. Izuku tried to stay as objective as possible, well aware that he tended to lean towards being overly emotional. Number 1, the usual bullying he dealt every day at school. They did seem to go fairly hard at it, though, not missing a single opportunity to trip him in the halls or slam him into the lockers. Number 2, the teacher picked on him about his dream of joining the UA Hero course, setting off another round of verbal abuse from his peers. And Number 3, after school, Kachan had cornered him to teach him a lesson, giving him more burns to deal with and saying, anyways. Number 4, he ran into a villain and almost died. And Number 5, All Might saved him, then turned around and crushed his only hope, the dream that he had harbored since before he could even properly walk. He realized that the microwave had finished its turn. He He probably should have put his hearing aids back in. Oh well. As he slid the ridiculously hot bowl with its lukewarm contents into the table, he tried to figure out where to go from here. He couldn't be a hero. Everyone else he had ever met made it abundantly clear. So what? He knew the numbers. Quirkless job opportunities were ridiculously low. No one wanted to hire someone that an insurance company wouldn't even cover. He should still at least go to high school. It would give him a few years to try and find something to do afterwards. That is, if he could find a reasonable high school that would accept him. He knew that UA accepted the Quirkless. It implemented guidelines on the issue just 2 years before, probably as a publicity stunt. But since he wasn't going into heroics, he should probably look into other options as well. See what he had available. What could possibly lead to his future. Looked like that would have been more of his plan for the rest of the weekend. Research. And a skeleton for a 5-year-old plan of some sort. Whoopee. No other high school in the area accepted people like him. The closest school besides UA was a 3-hour train ride away. And it was a school for the disabled. He's not fucking disabled. Okay, well, he is, but not in the way that he needed to go through a special program. He just needed help on the hearing issue. He's pretty sure that he's smart enough to go through a regular high school course. Seriously. He started checking out first-year level workbooks from the library last summer because he had finished his second read-through on the third-year middle school class books, and he was bored. Surely he could do just fine in a regular public high school. He thumped his head down on his desk, so either he tried for UA, a place notorious for their harder-than-average entrance exam, or he could give up and go where society deems he should. Or there was always his classmate's suggestion. No. The whole world was against him. Okay, fine. He will get into UA, whatever it takes, and he will make a future for himself. Maybe not as a hero, maybe as a designer? He was decent at drawing, and he already made loads of comments in his notebook about how heroes might improve their gear. Maybe he could forge a career for himself out of that. If all else failed, he could learn coding and help in labs and stuff and looking for glitches. But that was the kind of job that you need formal education. So be it. He could take every single entrance exam except for the ones for the hero course. He's bound to at least land in UA's general education program that way. He just got to spend every free moment he can studying. He's already ahead of his class, not that his grades could show that. Stupid bigoted teachers. It can't possibly be that hard to cram what he needs for 3 different tests in 10 months. Yeah, he can do this. He just needs to know what he needed to know. He spent another hour scouring the UA website for any hints that he could use on his tests. There wasn't much info, as expected. For Gen Ed, complete all the workbooks he had started borrowing last summer, and start year 2 ones if he has time. For business, give himself a crash course on marketing theory. He already knew how heroes sell their images. Take that and apply it to numbers. For support, make something impressive. Maybe he could do more with his hearing aids than just repair them. Could he make them explosion-proof? That would save a lot of headaches. It also looks like he'll have to turn in blueprints on what he makes. Not trying to be too hard. Those are just super detailed drawings, right? Maybe throw a couple of hero suit redesigns in for good measure. With his outline done, he nodded and sat back, once again confronted by the barrage of primary colors. As he gazed around, he came to a decision. He didn't need to cling on to All Might's shadow anymore. He was going to be his own person. The rest of his day was spent packing away and listing for sale every single bit of mighty merch in his room. Sorry if there was a quality drop or just voice change slightly towards the end. My little brother needed help getting cheese for his... Okay. Helium every day? That's a lot.
Feed him helium.
Oh, feed him helium. Okay, but isn't his name hydrogen peroxide?
No, his name's helium.
His name's since when?
I told you.
Okay.
Just take care of it.
Okay, I will, thanks. After all is said and done, thank you for listening.